Welcome back to Dagryffyn Hobby. My name's Dave, and today we'll be taking a closer look at my Southern Crescent Limited that I picked up at York. If you saw my last video, you know it wasn't running so well. Initially when I hit it with power, it didn't want to move at all. After giving it power and giving it a little push a couple times, it was running pretty well, but it was loud. Sounded like it needed a good lubing, and I felt it could do better. So I brought it inside, took it all apart. I did a moderately fair cleaning of the old lubricant, cleaned it up, lubricated it again. I also replaced the headlight with an LED, and that just didn't work out the way I wanted it to, so I'll be redoing that at another time. Now that it's been cleaned and lubricated, it really is running much better and much quieter. It still would not run as slow as I would like, but I'm pretty happy with its performance, especially compared to how it was when I took it out of the box. So let's take a closer look at this engine. I want to replace the bulb with an LED, but continue using the socket that it came with. So I'm going to find out. Maybe I should have left more wire on it. I feel like this end of the, the wire on this end of the resistor is going to snap off. No, it's also not going to fit down in there. Back to the drawing board. So some of the things I read online said that the manufacturing of this model was not fantastic, and that tolerances for all the gears and the drive were not the best. So instead of using oil, I'm applying grease to most of these spots. Hopefully that helps a little. Kind of sounds tight, something's rubbing. Probably still use some cleaning. Getting some gummy stuff out of here. Right here, I don't know if you can see it in there, I'll put a picture up. A couple of the teeth are broken off the gear. It looks like it might have been from impact being put down on something, but that's kind of annoying, but I don't see any other damage. I'm going to continue trying to clean off the old grease and get this thing lubricated. One thing I was wondering is, what do you guys do to remove the old caked on dried up grease? And I tried to scrub and wipe and scrape it off, but I also don't want to introduce any issues by scraping it with, a metal screwdriver or something. Tried to oil it and then wipe it off as it comes loose, but I mean, we've got all this residue on this inside of this flange and on the gear, both of them really. I mean, what do you do to clean that up? So I'm going to take a break from the cleaning and over oiling here, because that's what I'm doing, is over lubricating the crap out of this thing. And I'm going to take a look at the brushes. This one didn't fall out, which is usually a good indication that it needs to be cleaned. Oh, it doesn't want to move. Oh yeah, that definitely needs to be cleaned. That should help quite a bit. Well, might hope it does. Oh, it's a little dirty. Okay, that looks a lot better. Alright, so I got it all cleaned up. I'll put the brushes back in, make sure they move. Oh, they certainly do. Oh, not this one. Huh, I think we have an additional issue here. Well, this brush doesn't move properly up and down, and that's definitely going to impact the way it runs, which is probably why it wouldn't start initially. Okay, I'd never done this before, but I just fixed this brush plate. I was showing you how the one brush was not moving. I just took a screwdriver, a Phillips head screwdriver that was just about the same size, and I put it gently into the spot and just turned it back and forth. You can feel there's resistance, so it's a little out of round, but it was enough that the brush moves freely now. I'm interested to see how this affects the running characteristics of the engine, because as you may know, when a brush doesn't move properly, it doesn't run right. So this is very neat. I'm excited by that. So I'm going to put the brushes back in and put the engine back together. I had read online that somebody else had had an issue with the brush plate and that they had swapped it out for a different one and that it fixed the issue. I'm wondering if they had a similar complaint and if that was something that happened with these brush plates. One of these days I will resist the urge to over-oil the crap out of everything, and I'll spend a lot less time cleaning up the messes that I make. Can't wait for that. That'll be nice. That's what I'm doing, is just cleaning up a mess. The gearing is definitely loud on this. I don't know if you can hear that, but it should really roll a lot smoother than that. I don't know if it's because of the materials the gears are made of or the way they're cut. Usually the way a gear is cut will affect how it sounds. Maybe they are too tight. I don't know, this idler gear here seems very loose. There seems to be a lot of play in that. I think that's contributing to noise. I mean, I mainly run the old stuff so the noise doesn't bother me, but it's definitely a little loud. And just a note of comparison, I love the way these MPC engines are built in comparison to the post-war varieties. Especially since they were so similar in so many ways. The fact that the steam chest or cow catcher, the whole front piece here, is attached to the motor frame, and all the side rods are attached to that as well, and you just take 2 screws out and the whole shell comes off. I just really love that. After dealing with a number of engines where you had to take some of the side rods off or all of them off, it's kind of annoying to have to do that just to service the engine. So definitely, I think that's a major design improvement that they did at the time. And I think makes it easier to work on because you can see everything together in one piece. You know, it's sometimes harder to diagnose an issue when you have to take half the parts off just to get to it. So I love that. So that's it. I just really like the fact that they did that. If you are working on one of these engines that have the mighty sound of steam and you're having an intermittent chuff or a non-existent chuff, check this spot here right by the smoke unit. This contact here has to contact this spot down here. As the engine rolls and the engine puffs, the inner plunger for the smoke unit comes up and these two make contact. On this one, they were not. I had to bend the upper hook portion back and down so that it would contact the point on the bottom. That will affect the chuffing that was not actually happening before, but it's not going to make the tender any louder. The way I observed it before was the sound of steam. It would hiss, but it wouldn't chuff, and that's because these 2 points were not making contact. I've also seen where here the wire has come off of the contact. So those 2 things are worth checking if you're having an intermittent or non-existent chuff. Well, as you can see, the cleaning and lubing really helped. It's been running much better. I'm interested to see how this engine performs after it's been running a while. I'll probably need another cleaning and lubing at some point. As I said in there somewhere, I really need to scale back the lubrication. I get a little carried away and put too much in there, and then it ends up dripping out for a while. It makes everything a mess. So if you learn anything from me, it's don't overdo the lubrication. You know, if 1 drop will do, don't do 12. You know, so it'll just make your life easier. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time on the Dagryffyn Hobby.